Well, Numsa is currently engaging with motor sector employers in an attempt to resolve a wage negotiation deadlock and a possible strike. The union is demanding a 12% increase and a one-year agreement for the sector. But companies have not made a specific offer yet. So for more on what failure to reach an agreement will actually mean, we're joined by Numsa spokesperson Phakamile Hlubi-Majola. Phakamile, thank you for your time and good morning. How far are negotiations so far?
Good morning and good morning to your viewers. Thank you so much for having me on the show. We are right in the middle of those talks to resolve the deadlock with the employers. We actually met for day one of the dispute resolution under the auspices of the DRC of the Motor Industries Bargaining Council. We believe that we're actually making progress. We are determined, and I think we can say this certainly from the side of Numsa, we are determined to ensure, because today is the last day, that as we conclude today, that we will find one another. That is the indication and the commitment that Numsa has made as an organization. We are determined to find one another. We are very aware of the fact that there is a time crunch. Our members are very anxious to see us resolve this round of wage talks, especially because the wage agreement is actually expiring at the end of this month. So it's very important that we have to try and find one another.
Yeah. So with that progress being made, does that mean that indications of a possible strike are now out of the cards?
Look, we're not saying that we won't go on strike. We are only saying that a strike is an action of last resort. We are not at that point right now. Our focus as Numsa and as parties to these talks is to negotiate and find each other. We actually had bilaterals with employer associations yesterday where we were very frank with each other about how we got here, about the frustrations that workers are feeling. I mean, you know, the statement that we issued yesterday is a reflection of the frustration that members are feeling because these talks started way back in March and we still have not made significant progress. As we sit here, we don't have an offer from the employer. Now, that for us is deeply problematic because we cannot have started wage talks in March. There's no offer on the table. Workers are very frustrated. Yeah. And we were very frank when we were when we were engaging with each other to say that we have to find a resolution. And so we do believe that, you know, as we've engaged with them since yesterday, we do think that we can find one another. Obviously, we'll be able to say more at the end of today, but we remain hopeful.
All right. So I suppose for context purposes, Phakamile, let's go through your demands as the union. You've just reminded us that the companies have still not made a specific offer yet, but what are your demands?
Well, the burning demand is a 12% across the board increase. This, for us, is a burning demand for members, particularly because these are members who carried the industry throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. And these are workers, most of whom are garage employees. Some of them are earning as little as 21 Rand per hour. So this would really be a meaningful increase for those employees. I think also we have to remember that these are workers who, like everybody else, are struggling with the cost of living. The cost of living has skyrocketed in this country. They cannot survive on what they are currently existing on. So we really want the industry to meet us halfway so that we can at least be able to resolve this round of talks and we can try and give workers a meaningful increase. One of the demands I know, for example, specifically from that sector, is night shift allowance. This is a demand that's been made by workers as well. So again, these are all things that we have to go through. We will have to obviously compromise. We're ready to do that. They must just put something on the table so that we've got something to work with.
Yeah. And just lastly, before I let you go, I suppose for emphasis, I mean, if a failure to reach an agreement does occur, what does this then mean?
Well, if we don't agree, and that would depend on what would make us not to agree, as a trade union, we have the right to exercise the right to strike. That, of course, will be determined by our members. They will be the ones to say to us what options we should explore, but we are not there yet.
All right.
Right now, we're determined to resolve this round of talks.
All right. Well, I appreciate you speaking to us this morning. Phakamile Hlubi-Majola, thank you so much for your time. Numsa spokesperson talking to us about, of course, wage engagements and negotiations currently taking place between the union as well as the motor sector employers.